Ajoke and Gbemi had been friends from when they were little and they loved each other. They shared everything they had from different toys, buying the same clothes and wearing them on the same day, to even the same utensils. If you were new in the village, you would confuse them for being from the same womb. Even the villagers could not hide their thoughts and would always comment on the fact that both kids had probably shared a vow not to leave each other in the spiritual realm before coming to earth. No one could break their cordial cord, not even their parents. When they came of age to determine their profession, they both chose to be dancers. They made a very great team for years and they earned the title of being the best dancers that brought entertainment to another level. There was an occasion when you would see Ajoke that you wouldn't see Gbemi. They were inseparable. One fateful day, the ladies were invited to entertain guests at an influential event held by Chief Akinkumi for his handsome son's birthday. They were received warmly and they delivered to their reputation. The son, Akanbi, was delighted by their performance, and before the crow of the cock, he was already chatty with Ajoke. You are extremely gorgeous. Where exactly have you been? Akanbi asked Ajoke. With a chuckle, she replied, You are also handsome, which then moved to giggles and stares. After that day, the relationship blossomed and they began to see each other more frequently. A few months later, Ajoke got married to Akanbe. The saying that whatever is yours becomes that of the other when you get married happened in the case of Ajoke because Akanbi came from a wealthy home. She became very rich and lacked nothing. A year after their marriage, Ajoke gave birth to two bouncing baby boys, and it didn't stop there as it was a tale of one good news to another. About a year later, Gbemi, who was Ajoke's childhood friend, also fell in love with the yam seller Ajao, and they got married, but they could not produce any offspring. Ajoke, on the other hand, welcomed another set of twins, again with her husband. It was a joyous celebration for their home. Gibemi and her husband Ajao prayed and prayed for the womb to carry an offspring, but it felt like God ignored their prayers as they became childless. One day, Ajoke, who was flooded with pity for her friend, decided to take Gabemi and her husband to a popular fertility herbalist who was famous for helping families have children in the village as the solution to the matter of their childlessness. On getting there, the money needed for the local testing and herbs was too expensive for Gabemi and her husband to afford, but a kind friend Ajoke offered to assist her friend and paid for it all. They were tested and given some herbs to make use of at home and to return 2 days later for the results of the test. After 2 days, Gbemi and her husband returned to the herbalist, and they were both told that Aja was the source of their childlessness. He had what was known as low sperm counts, meaning he won't be able to impregnate a woman easily. This tore the heart of Gbemi as well as her husband, but he had to stand as a pacifier as they left the home of the herbalist. A week later, Ajal's mother came to visit her son and Bemi was excited to see her. She ran with all her excitement to receive her mother in law, but got welcomed with a loud slap on her face. She began to rain insults on her, calling her all sorts of names like he goat, useless, a womb that carried stone, etc. She even went as far as threatening her that she would bring in a new wife who would produce a child for her son and make her a grandmother. In all of these, Gbemi did not reveal to her mother in law that her son was the cause of their childlessness, but endured her insults and blame just to protect her husband. Ajao came back in the evening and found his mother hurling insults at his wife, while telling her son that she had found him a second wife who could give him children as many as he wanted. This infuriated Ajao, and he had to reprimand his mother. Gibemi became the talk of the town. Even the villagers would not miss an opportunity to point out her predicaments. 5 years into the marriage and no child to show forth, One day, Bemi was coming back from the market with so much load. A young child came out to assist her, but just as he was getting closer, the boy's mother rushed out and pulled the child away from helping her, remarking her childlessness, which brought tears to her eyes. A plan came to Gbemi one fateful night as she woke her husband up and, with tears in her eyes, told him that she would prefer to have an affair with another man so that she could have children of her own. But Ajao rejected the offer and was not ready to be persuaded, even after she told him that it was going to be a secret between the both of them and it was going to be someone they could trust. This threw Ajao into a bout of disgust as he could not imagine her indulging in adultery and believed the gods to provide her with children when the time was right. But Gbemi was not backing down from her idea as she reminded him that the herbalist already told them it would be very difficult to impregnate a woman, and also she was tired of being mocked. But Ajao was also not ready to submit to such an idea. Gibemi stopped eating and talking to him for 2 weeks and would keep on sulking. Gbemi discussed this with her friend Ajoke, since they always shared everything from the onset, with the hope that Ajoke could provide a suggestion to whom they could trust to carry out such a task. A few weeks later, Ajoke came with a suggestion that she could sleep with her husband, Akanbi, but Gibemi would not have it. Ajoke tried to persuade her, telling her that it would work out fine, especially with the fact that she had given birth to twins twice in the marriage of 6 years. Gebemi finally accepted, and Ajoke tabled this before her husband 3 days later. Akanbe was furious at such an offer from his wife and rejected it outrightly. Ajoke began to threaten him that she would run away with their children if he didn't help her friend become pregnant, and he had no other option than to accept to help his wife after several days of back and forth. They finally chose a day where Akanbe and Gbemi did what they had planned to be done. 2 weeks later, the result of the plan showed forth, with Gbemi getting pregnant. So her belly began to protrude, and the villagers made it their new topic. 9 months later, they gave birth to a baby boy and named him Faith Bomi. When Faith Bomi turned 2 years old, things took another turn. Ajal started showering the boy with so much love. Gebemi could not stand watching her husband show so much affection, even when she knew he did not have enough sperm to impregnate her. All he ever thought was that the gods had finally answered them. As the boy grew, the love of Ajal grew as well. He kept on showering the boy with gifts, and Bemi could not do anything to alleviate the guilt she felt each time he hovered around the boy. Ayoke would come visit at times, and each day she had a snide remark or a negative suggestion about how the boy looked. She never had any good thing to say about his appearance or even his good attitude. Faith Bomi had to ask his mom if he had done any wrong deed to her friend, but she waved it off as a way of Ajoke showing undying affection. Fifebomi was already 19 years of age and wanted to start his own business selling jewelry. He asked his father for money to start the business, but he said he didn't have it. But Bemi reassured him that she was going to help him get the money soon. She went ahead to ask her friend Ajoke, but she was not interested in helping the boy, especially because her children were majorly vagabond within the village. She told Gbemi to let her son indulge in the same trade as his father, or even go as far as becoming an apprentice for his father in the yam trade. Gibembi was hot. Some days later, Ajoke and her husband Akanbi came to Gbemi's home. While Fifebumi attended to the guest, Ajoke went ahead as usual and started insulting the boy, saying that he was useless and could not even go as far as assist the family in the right way, especially since he was older. Ajal was shocked at such a remark and questioned her attitude, but she was not going to back down. Akanbe, her husband, told her to remain calm, but she shouted at her husband, threatening him that he would reveal the secret. Bemi's heart jumped to her mouth as she began to plead with Ajoke, but Ajoke was not ready to calm the flame of fire on her head. She opened her mouth and told everyone the secret about how Bemi got pregnant and that the child was not from the loins of Ajao. Ajao could not believe his ears as he slumped to the ground with his head in between his hands. Do you think Ajao will ever forgive Gbemi? Do you think Fifebomi would ever accept Akanbi as his father? What will your advice be in this situation? Share your thoughts with us in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned to enjoy more interesting tales. Thanks for watching.